Jujutsu Kaisen chapter 233. This is it, my brothers and sisters. This is Gojo's last chance and only shot in order to defeat Sukuna's trump card, Mahoraga. In this chapter, it proves both fighters are being pushed hard, both Gojo and Sukuna. The chapter note even regards Gojo is pushed to the brink, and Sukuna is not in the best shape either. Reverse curse technique is wearing down, their output is dropping, their effective options are dwindling down, and it's going to go down to the wire. So let's break down this awesome chapter, continuing the battle of the strongest. Well, finally, Sukuna's trump card Mahoraga has ultimately adapted to infinity and bypassed the untouchable infinity shield, reaching Gojo's life. Watching all of this go down, Gojo's students and his peers all stare in fear of Gojo's safety. However, Yuji is confident that his sensei is not finished yet, since if it adapts to infinity, Gojo is still on equal footing to that monster. He tries to mention Gojo can quickly heal with RCT. However, Shoko interjects, and she is visibly stressed and apologizes, but Gojo is taking much longer to heal with reverse curse technique. She notices his RCT output is dropping, unfortunately, and likely Sukuna's RCT is dropping the same because of the damage to his brain. But at this point, you can really tell just how stressed the group is for Gojo. Shoko is smoking a ton of cigarettes, despite her actually quitting before in her life, so she is super stressed. And it's explained that the thought of Gojo Satoru losing has flooded all of their minds, and the same thought struck Gojo himself. He thinks back to when was the last time he was going to lose, and he thought of Toji Fushiguro from over 11 years ago. But as the signs of defeat show, Gojo gets a much more thrilling feeling of satisfaction as he faces Sukuna. So yes, Gojo has dealt with the loneliness that comes with absolute strength, and now there is truly another fighter that can challenge him. I absolutely love what that means to Gojo and also what it means to Sukuna as well. Many times Sukuna has had to eat his own words and be humbled because Gojo is like his equal as well. And Sukuna knows that because he keeps thinking back on Yorozu's words. And now even Gojo finds himself thinking on those words because never has he faced anyone like Sukuna. And that thought is so important in this battle, and Gege emphasizes that to show us they are the strongest. They recognize their position, and despite what you may think, they are more or less on equal terms now. Gojo steals his resolve and in the spur of the moment slams Mahoraga back with a fury of punches. He then recites his curse technique reversal's incantations in order to restore his own output. But before Reversal Red is unleashed, Sukuna wakes up and released Rabbit Escape out of Gojo's own shadow, and Gojo gets fired up and remarks that his Black Flash worked like a charm. But when the red is unleashed, Rabbit Escape was like a chaff grenade and caused the attack to narrowly hit Mahoraga, because right afterwards Makora's wheels spun and Gojo realizes now that it's adapted to infinity. Sukuna protects it to make sure it's not destroyed by anything else and tries to make openings for it to be on the offensive. That's why Sukuna threw that fire extinguisher almost like a sort of smoke bomb for Mahoraga to come in and sneak attack, and surprisingly Sukuna mimicked the Kamo clan's piercing blood technique, but instead of using blood, Sukuna showed a new application of 10 shadows and used Max Elephant's water like a high pressure nozzle to pierce Gojo while he's distracted. So now it's like a sort of 2v1 as Mahoraga erases the infinity so Sukuna can attack in that short window to reach Gojo. Even Gojo commends Sukuna because given the 10 shadows as a technique, a sorcerer normally is unable to use a Shikigami's ability without summoning them. But I guess because of Sukuna's interpretation, he can use the Shikigami however he wants. That alone makes Sukuna's 10 shadows versatility shoot through the roof. It's even better than I thought. Imagine something like Nue's lightning. However, Gojo saw that 10 shadows and Sukuna's Mizushi shrine technique cannot be used at the same time, unless it's applied to a domain externally. That's why we are not seeing Sukuna's flame arrow or anything, because I'm sure that as an attack is a bit more of a convenient option opposed to just using 10 shadows for damage. However, Sukuna is using Megami's technique very well and way better than anything Megami could naturally. So now Gojo thinks the adaptation for his red limitless enhance should take longer than something like his curse technique lapse blue. So Gojo would just rather use the stronger red technique rather than messing around with blue and slowly letting Mahoraga take away Gojo's options. Sukuna then calls out that this is not a 2v1, revealing an amalgamation of Shikigami, using Nue and Totality, creating a new Shikigami called Chimera Beast Agito. This Shikigami is kind of like Well's Unknown Abyss that Megami used before, so we still don't actually know what his 9th Shikigami is. But Sukuna used the Shikigami kind of like an extension technique to fuse mainly Nue with Totality, and there are hints of Madoka Deer and Great Serpent, so I guess again this is Sukuna's interpretation and it's pretty awesome. And apparently it has a female appearance as well, so that is also interesting but also kind of freaky as well. Sukuna claims that this is now a 3v1, and while there is probably a lot of fans, including myself, who make fun of Sukuna's reliance on 10 Shadows, this is the result of his plan. A stolen host, a stolen vessel, stolen technique, yet 100% this is the result of Sukuna's actions and a very high IQ strategy. I cannot defend Sukuna's integrity, it will likely never change how people view him, but that is not important to the King of Curses. It is irrelevant. Sukuna saw a solution and an opportunity with Megami's 10 Shadows, and he just might win because of it. Over the weeks, I gave this a ton of thought, and really a sorcerer fight of this caliber, this level, isn't going to be clean at all. It especially will not be what we all have in mind, so it should go without saying to enjoy the fight for what it is, and to see the outcome take place. Of course, Gojo pokes fun at it too. Mahoraga is quite literally a bailout, and in this 3v1 situation, Sukuna gets roasted, being called a lost little alien boy, which based on the reference that it came from, is somehow even worse than the translation that it was before. But then the Jujutsu jumping commences, and Gojo is up on the chopping block. However, Gojo isn't giving them an inch. He is dodging and weaving perhaps the strongest tag team that we've seen so far in the series, maybe even in history, and Gojo makes it look easy. I mean, Sukuna's popping out of his shadow, Agito seemingly doing a lightning-based attack, meanwhile Mahoraga comes in to erase infinity. Mahoraga and Agito throwing hands relentlessly. This is top-tier sorcery, and Gojo still holds strong. Toward the end of the chapter, Gojo tries to destroy Mahoraga with another red, and it did do damage, but Mahoraga resisted not only because Gojo's output was on the decline, but it looks like Mahoraga has a gradual adaptation rather than just going from 0 to 100. If I'm not mistaken, Mahoraga already started the adaptation process earlier to red when the wheels spun, and if it was a direct hit earlier, then Mahoraga already might have been actually one-shot since Sukuna protected it with Rabbit Escape. So since Mahoraga is starting to resist now, he needs to one-shot it by using that technique. Gojo mentions the charge taking ages to do, and Sukuna has his guard up, but Gojo has no other choice, and he has to settle it now with his unlimited hollow technique. Wow. Unlimited hollow technique. So Gojo likely has a hollow series that is an extension technique of limitless, kind of like purple, and it probably is something other than purple. This may be an actual maximum technique, and if it is, we would likely have seen every single Jujutsu skill in one fight. Cursed energy manipulation, reinforcement, output, cursed techniques, extension techniques, maximum technique, falling blossom emotion, simple domain, domain amplification, domain expansion, reverse curse technique reversal, technique lapse, and black flash. Not to mention Shikigami usage and all types of taijutsu and hand-to-hand combat. This is truly our Jujutsu Kaisen, and they are about to do everything in the book plus more. This Jujutsu battle has been such a trip, and it's crazy that we are just about 11 chapters into this fight. It looks like this is Gojo's last hope. Mahoraga has to be defeated before it takes away all of Gojo's options, or he will lose. I'm very keen on seeing just the outcome of the hollow technique or what it could be, and I think Gojo's plan will actually work to take down Mahoraga. So I'm excited to see what Sukuna does if he can no longer use it or adapt when Mahoraga is gone, but I guess we'll find out next week who will come out on top. I hope you guys enjoyed. What a fantastic chapter all around. This was just my thoughts. Please comment below and share what you think of the chapter. What could this hollow technique be? What will Sukuna do next? Who walks away from this fight? I'd love to know your viewpoints, your ideas, your agendas. Just share what you think. Subscribe for more videos like this one, and I'll see you awesome guys in the next one. Bye-bye.